Good evening everyone. Today's topic is basic data types in Java. Basic data types are the data types which are supported by the compiler, Java compiler. As in my first video of this series, I told you about the name of the Java compiler, that is javac.exe. So Java compiler provides 8 basic data types which are byte, short, int, long, float, double, char and boolean. Data types are the types of data supported by one particular language. Like Java supports basic data types, 8 basic data types, as well as other types which are not basic types but they are known as reference type. So in future videos I will definitely explain about the reference type. So basic data types are the data types which compiler knows. Byte, short, int, long, these 4 data types support the integer type of data. So today's topic is integer types in Java: byte, short, int and long. Out of 8 basic data types, today I will explain 4 basic data types: byte, short, int, long. So in the data types class, first I have declared one variable of type byte. Byte is the keyword for declaring byte type of variable. Val1 is the name of the variable, and as I have mentioned in the comment, byte occupies 1 byte or 8 bits in memory. Byte is the shortest integer type in Java. Byte type of value occupies 8 bits in memory. So in 8 bits, the rightmost 7 bits are reserved for magnitude and left 1 bit is reserved for sign. We can store both negative and positive sign in memory. Negative values, for negative values, the sign bit, that is the leftmost bit, is 1, and for positive values the sign bit is 0. So out of 8 bits, the leftmost 1 bit is reserved for sign and the 7 right side bits are reserved for magnitude. So in 7 bits we can store all the combinations from 0 to 2 to the power 7 minus 1. So the highest positive value for a byte type of variable is 2 to the power 7 plus 2 to the power 7 minus 1, which is actually 127. And in negative side, the highest negative value is the minus 2 to the power, that is, you can say the lowest value is minus 2 to the power 7, that is minus 128. So byte supports minus 128 to plus 127. As in the variable val1, I have stored the highest positive value 127. If I print the value, it will print 127. Next I tried to store value, positive value, which is beyond the limit of byte. 127 is the highest positive value. So 128 value I tried to store. So what is the error? This is the syntax error or compilation error. Syntax error is showing that incompatible types, possible lossy conversion from int to byte. So 128 does not fall in the range of byte type of value. So 128 is considered as int value. 128 we can't store in a byte type of variable. That is why compilation error appears, and I can't compile the code to a successful byte code because the code consists of errors. Just to show you the highest value supported by byte type of variable, this type of value I have used and I tried to print. So the next type is short. Short occupies 2 bytes or 16 bits in memory. Short is the second integer type which occupies 2 bytes in memory, that is 16 bits. Again the same calculation, out of 16 bits the leftmost bit is reserved for sign and the right side 15 bits are reserved for magnitude. So within 15 bits we can store 2 to the power 15 types of values, that is positive side 0 to 2 to the power 15 minus 1, and negative side is minus 2 to the power 15 to minus 1. Minus 2 to the power 15 is 32768, and plus 2 to the power 15 minus 1 is 32767. So 32767 is the highest value supported by a short type of value, which I have stored in val2 variable, which I can print easily. And the same way, like I explained for byte, I tried to store the value which is beyond the limit of byte, short, and that is 32768, which crosses the limit, highest limit of short, and that is why again compilation error. So I can't compile my code with errors. I will remove the error and then I will compile the code. Removing the errors in a programming language is known as debugging. Bug means errors and debug means to remove the errors. So I will debug my code and then I will be able to compile my code. Next one is int, which occupies 4 bytes or 32 bits in memory. The range is 2 to the power minus 2 to the power 31 to plus 2 to the power 31 minus 1. Same logic. Out of 32 bits, leftmost bit is reserved for sign, and right side 31 bits are reserved for magnitude of a number. So within 31 bits we can store 2 to the power 31 types of values in the positive side, as well as 2 to the power 31 types of values in the negative side. So negative side minus 1 to minus 2 to the power 31, and positive side 0 to 2 to the power 31 minus 1, which is actually 21474836647. That is the highest integer supported by int type of data in Java, which I can easily print. If I store the value, if I try to store the value beyond this limit, that is 21474836648, which does not support the range of int, then again I will get an error. See the error. Integer number too large. Okay. Next type is long. Long is again the integer type, which occupies 8 bytes or 64 bits in memory. Leftmost bit, 1 bit is reserved for sign, and the right side 63 bits are reserved for magnitude, and 2 to the power 63 types of values are supported in positive side, and 2 to the power 63 types of values are supported in negative side. So in the positive side 0 to 2 to the power 63 minus 1, and in the negative side 2 to the power 63 minus 2 to the power 63 to minus 1, these values are supported. So 21474836647, which is the highest integer value, I can easily store in long. If I want to store value which is greater than the highest integer level, then again error, compilation error, integer number too large. So any whole number without decimal point basically in Java is considered as integer. So 21474836648 will be considered as integer, which is which we can't show as integer because 21474836648 is not supported by the range of the integer, because the highest integer value is 21474836647, highest int value in Java, and beyond the value, this range, the values will be considered as long. So I need to add one L at the end of the value. You can see that the error is removed, and now I can store this value as long value in the variable val4. Any value within this range 21474836647 positive side, and in the negative side minus 21474836648, you can store as integer, and also you can easily assign to long int long type of variable, long int or long type of variable, which will be converted to long. Basically the number is int, but will be converted to long, and this conversion is supported by compiler. Means compiler automatically converts int type to long type. When you try to store one int type of value to a long type of variable, compiler automatically supports this conversion, and this type of conversion from one type to another type, which is supported by compiler, is known as implicit conversion or automatic conversion. So the four basic data types, integer types, which I have explained here: byte or byte, short, int and long. Byte type of value occupies 8 bits in memory, means 1 byte. Short type of value occupies 2 bytes or 16 bits in memory. Int type of value occupies 4 bytes or 32 bits in memory, and long type of value supports 8 bytes or 64 bits in memory. These are all basic data types supported by the compiler. The problem with these types, I think you can easily guess that there is a restriction of the highest value in positive side as well as lowest value in the negative side. That is the main problem in Java for basic data types, because basic data types restrict the value stored in the variable. So this is the problem with basic data types. But basic data types are there in Java, and we hugely use basic data types in the programs for storing integer type of value or for storing decimal types of value, which we can store in float and double. For single character alphabets or single digit or single symbol, we can store in cat type of variable, and boolean means true and false, we can store in boolean type of variables. So in next program I will be showing the use of char and boolean, float and double. Let's compile this code. With the errors I can't compile the code, so I am converting this number to -128, which is the lowest value for byte, and I can easily compile the code now. Then I am converting this one to negative, that is the lowest negative value for short, and then this one I am converting to the lowest negative value for int. Then I can easily compile the code, and this is the long. Now see, no compilation error, all the errors are removed. That means I have successfully debugged my code. Class compile, no syntax error. I am going back to the project window. This is my project window. So data types is my class name, and right click and void main. I can successfully run the code. See the value of the variable. Value 1 is 127, then -128. Val 2 short type of value 32767, then val 2 short -32768. Lowest and highest range both I have stored in the variables. Val 3 integer type of value, highest value 2147483647, and lowest value -2147483648, and val 4, that is 2147, that is the long type of value I tried to store in the variable. So all the variables with their values are displayed here. Next, for showing the char and boolean type, float and double, other 4 basic data types. Little bit copy of the code will help me to complete the video first. So cat type of variable I can declare with the keyword char. So char val 1, here I can store alphabets single alphabet, and single quote will be required to enclose the char type of value, means char constant. Here capital A is a char constant. If I declare another variable of char type comma val2, then I can also store a digit. So 8 is a digit, but when enclosed within single quote, this value will be considered as a character. Now for capital A, when capital A will be stored in memory, then the ASCII value of capital A, which is 65, will be stored in memory. That means the binary of 65, and 65 is the ASCII value of character A, will be stored in memory. And for 8, 0 to 9 digits are represented by their internal ASCII value. What is the full form of ASCII? American Standard Code for Information Interchange. And character 0 means if I write 0 within single quote, that will be considered as character 0 has ASCII value of 48. So if we store 0 in memory, actually the binary of 48 will be stored in memory. Like character A1 will have the ASCII value of 49. In this way, 0 to 9 characters are having their ASCII values. Whenever we want to store any character constant in memory, actually the binary version of their ASCII value is stored in memory. Next one, so this is the char type of variable. Next is Boolean type of variable, where we can store true or false. Only two types of Boolean constants are allowed in Java. Actually Boolean means two, true and false. True in small case and false in small case. So val3 and val4 are Boolean types of variables. Next, basic data types are float and double. So float val5 34.56. If I write like this, I will get a compilation error. Why? Incompatible types, possible lossy conversion from double to float, because the decimal numbers which we use in program are considered as double type in Java. And double and float are two decimal types, although the size of double is double of the float. So float occupies 4 bytes in memory, but double value occupies 8 bytes in memory, and any decimal number is considered as double in Java. So 34.56, if I write and I want to store in a float type of variable, it will produce a compilation error because 34.56 is considered as a double type constant. What to do? I will attach one f, capital A for small f, to represent this type as float. Now see, the compilation error has removed. So 34.56 is a double type of value, but 34.56f is considered as float type of value, which I can easily store in a float type of variable. Next, I am creating a double type of variable, val6 equals to 34.56. So double occupies actually 8 bytes in memory. Positive and negative sign also you can store, means any value without any sign will be considered as positive, and if you want to store negative value in float or double, we can easily add negative sign in front of the number. Now I am printing the value of the variable, just copying the code from here, system.out.println. Println is a function for displaying value in monitor. So I am displaying val1, val2, next I will print val3, val 4. Next I will print val 5, val 6, all the variables I have displayed. Class compiled, no syntax error. So in this program I tried to explain the 4 basic data types: char, boolean, float and double. In my previous program I explained 4 integer type. Here char and boolean. Char occupies 2 bytes in memory and float occupies 4 bytes in memory, double occupies 8 bytes in memory. For boolean actually occupies 1 byte in memory but boolean has only 2 types of value, true and false. Out of this 1 byte, means 8 bits, only 1 bit is required to represent true or false. Only 1 bit. True is represented as binary 1 and false is internally represented as binary 0. So 8 bits are not required, but minimum memory unit is of 8 bits. Out of 1 byte, actually only 1 bit is used. And for char occupies 2 bytes in memory. Char occupies 2 bytes in memory. All the character constants which we want to use, we must use within single quote. And within single quote, only one alphabet or only one digit or only one special character like plus or hash or comma or semicolon, any special character we can use, but the value must be enclosed within single quote. And these values are known as char constant. Let's compile and run the code. See, val 1 is A, val 2 0, val 3 true, val 4 false, val 5 34.56, val 6 also 34.56. So val 5 is a float type of value, val 6 is a double type of value, but when it is displayed in screen, then AF is not displayed. But when we store the value in a float type of variable, we have used the value, then F followed by capital A for small f to indicate that this value is not a double type of value, but the value is basically a float type of value. Because in Java, decimal numbers, if we use in a program, will be considered as double types, and double occupies 8 bytes in memory, whereas float occupies 4 bytes in memory, and one value of 8 bytes cannot be stored in a 4 bytes memory space. That is why compilation error comes. So why we'll study the programming language, the instructions or programming language? Obviously the concept is the most important thing, but for a programmer it is very important to know different types of errors encountered in a program. Compilation error or syntax error encounters in a program when we try to compile the code. Compiler checks for the grammar. Compiler checks for the syntax, another name of syntax in grammar. So in programming language, syntax or grammar is checked by. So the compilation error must be, sorry for the lack of this space, I could not continue the recording.